to your astrological natal chart report. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you gain the utmost of confidence. Came out, but quality from this report. Let's get right into it. As you can see, we have here your natal chart. You have a very amazing natal chart. One thing that I'm definitely for sure going to do a documentary on 1983 for sure, because Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune here is some of the most glorious Sagittarius magic I've ever seen in a chart. And this was the year the North Node was in Gemini before it went into Cancer or came out of Cancer. And having South Node on Neptune is one thing, but Jupiter attached to the second house, which is really good for money, and its rulership of Jupiter is one thing. But having Saturn and its exaltation next to Pluto in the 12th is a form of a legendary status that pits the most extreme social karma in this hidden house to make the most difficult part of your life social interactions that have you learn from hidden enemies in these social contexts, but also tie your karma to the less fortunate, the mentally ill, those who are overlooked in society, and also unlocking supernatural abilities in the way you socialize or take action socially. But we also see that with your moon opposite this, there's a form or element of shade or negativity you can sense opposite Pluto and Saturn in the way people express their identity through their behavior, which gets us into the reading. With your moon square your sun, you have the Capricorn sun moon signature, because Aries is 10th house to Cancer. And so this gives you the vibration of authentic sincerity as the original or warrior priest. As Cancer sun gives you the spirit of the high priest, the Holy Spirit. And you have this as a representative of purity, hence being, of course, the pure king, as you're pure King Marcus. I'm Taurus rising, so I'm natural King Michael. Of course, a woman with this would be natural or pure queens. But pure royalty represents your representation of not just wisdom, but connection to the underworld, or at least psychological aspects in people's mind that enable you to discern psychoanalytically their deeper nature, and also death stare the crap out of people who you deem unworthy. But this is very pivotal. We know that the North Node is in the 7th house. The South Node just left. Jupiter, Uranus, you had the North Node return the past couple years. So this is unlocked the ascended nature of your value. And I want to speak on that because as a Scorpio rising, you manifest Sagittarius. As a Taurus rising, I manifest Gemini. So Scorpio is a social personality. Taurus rising is individual personality, both royal personalities. I manifest Gemini. So you paid me so I could talk to you. Let's just be real. I'm just manifesting communication because I manifest second house Gemini. You manifest the other end of that, so you have collective value, whereas Gemini is individual, so I have individual value, and I'm working one-on-one with you. But you manifest the meaning of the truth, right? You manifest Sagittarius, light magic. I know a Sagittarius woman with this as a Scorpio rising who lit a candle, right? Second house Sag, intending money, and the next day she got a $90,000 contract. I know, it's crazy. But you have this magic too. Jupiter's in its rulership here. Kylie Jenner, Bill Gates, they have Jupiter in the second house. So like Uranus here adds the most unconventional nature and quality to how abundantly you manifest freedom, whether in the form of money, claircognizant visions that now with the North Node in the 8th house align that vision to who you can trust with these ideas and who, of course, can express that. So to see Cancer on that end extends forth your destiny to invest in the right ideas individually of people to now manifest the greater sincere clarity and vision philosophically, because you are a spirit teacher. You are the original spirit teacher of sincerity, in that you show people the higher meaning of what they feel in very freaky ways, because you can manifest, Sagittarius, the vision and the sight of what it is other people are feeling based on how you can teach them or react to based on how they feel, not what they say, which really freaks people out. I'm going to say it once again, because I can basically like talk to you in front and be like, oh yeah, man, I'm okay. I'm totally fine. And then you just automatically go get a piece of tissue paper and be like, okay, but what's really wrong? And it's like you're acting based off of how I feel inside. You don't even have to be conscious of it. So, and also the minute ways that I behave that reflect this too. So this is really key, because the main crux of your question references a stellium in your 8th house. And I want to show you that actually you don't have a stellium in your 8th house. All of these planets you see in Cancer fall in your 8th house, right? If we even look at the Placidus, they for sure fall in the 8th, right? I don't acknowledge Placidus because interceptions are BS, but there is accuracy in them. So like there is credence to them. Placidus charts are very accurate transit-wise, but psychological profiles, we want to look at the equal sign system and of course the whole signs, where truly you're a 9th house sun. As a Scorpio rising, you have a 9th house sun, right? As a Scorpio rising, your AC is in the middle, and your 9th house sun, right, falls in the 8th house. Okay? This is starkly different than you being a Sag rising. If you are a Sag rising, you would for sure definitely be an 8th house sun. There's a subtle difference. You are a 9th house sun that falls in the 8th. What that means, I'm actually somewhat similar. I'm an 8th house moon that falls in the 9th house. So as a 9th house sun, right, that falls into the 8th, what you do is you bring to the light in the 9th the occult. So your spirit is a teacher of psychic power, sincerity, emotional discernment. But where your lessons play out is how you make people aware of the hidden nature of these dynamics. But your 8th house is Gemini. So even though this falls in the 8th, you actually don't want to look at this as an 8th house aspect, because it's really not. Your energy here, like some people will tell you it is, but it's really not. Your North Node is in the 8th house. So if we talk about the North Node in the 8th and it sextiles Venus, you have Venus on the MC. That is legit. That is so legit. Just to see anything like that exact. But your MC is how you're seen. So Venus here adds literally golden beauty in this grand fire trine to now bring to a peak the fire generated and how you feel about how you integrate your own identity, your own feeling about yourself, and then how you express this boldly in your manifestation of Cancer sincerity, and you know how you express yourself. And anyone who I've met or seen with Venus on the MC, y'all don't play around with how you express yourself socially. It's a public energy in MC. Your legacy is to be an inspiration and to share your story and to perform it. Although Scorpio risings, I notice with this, don't like the spotlight. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's cool because you're going to always be noticed. If 10 people raise their hands, people with Venus on the MC are going to be so charming, they're noticed or picked more. So this is something you can use to put yourself out there. The courage and boldness of how masterfully you express your heart. Now sextile Pluto and Saturn has an extreme social quality that adds this supernatural element of skills. But in the 12th house, you'll be very misunderstood, because now there's an extreme level of social karma that can make it difficult to be in social interactions and motivate you to be more introverted, even though your Venus loves to be social. Like the way your heart is, it's not like you don't like to go out, at least even if it's privately. Like you do like to express yourself in the right setting. Pluto and Saturn here in the 12th is vicious, because this is that clandestine and also hidden nature of how people may want to talk behind your back, but you will always feel it with the Aries moon. But because it's the moon, you may not be aware. And then the square to your sun will be an outside influence that will undermine how insincere people's remarks socially can be, to where you can literally hear their intent through what they say, but you may not readily be able to prove it, thus leading you gaslighted. This is not a bad aspect at all. It's just really challenging. It's actually one of the most powerful aspects you have. Highly supernatural. Is just very challenging. Like people with this aspect could low-key be stalked by the government, but like you'd never know. In Libra, this would be more cosmic agents or men in black who now hijack the social channels you connect to, similar to agents in the Matrix who will just take over someone's consciousness and then antagonize you through them. So like if you try and call it out, that person will just revert back to their 3D self or NPC self and kind of express that. I'm not I believe in NPCs, but I don't believe in NPCs. Like when people say that, oh, that person's an NPC or that person's an NPC, I think that we're all extras in each other's movies. But make no mistake, the whole notion of an NPC is a real thing. There are people in this construct who create games within a game. So anyone outside of their understanding of that game private to them is an NPC. For example, I can be an NPC if I walked into a casino and 5 people were playing a game where an inside joke was held where they're the players of the game, and everyone else who's not aware of that technically is an NPC. Like if I was an enter that, I'm an NPC in their game. So, contextually, because now you have this in the 12th, you're very locked in on the nature of these social currents and how said beings can influence you negatively or indirectly or directly. Because this also connects with Neptune on the South Node, which speaks to you coming from this etheric primordial creation space. South Node in Neptune is literally having in the second house all the clairvoyant vision that you're using to align with the truth of who you can trust in. Because what you have is Sagittarius. I have the truth. Well, you have meaning, you have vision, you have ascension. You have ascension magic. You literally have the supernatural ability to just manifest the meaning of truth. And this is such a huge deal because Jupiter and Uranus here give you so much fire, magic, and potential and perspective to know how to integrate with what direction, how you feel about yourself based on what you manifest, and then how to fix that into how you express that publicly through the channel of Cancer in the 8th, transforming the sincerity of how you bring out these hidden social dynamics, which most of the time you just have to be the villain because most people are just goddamn liars, not knowing that you have a hidden camera ready to expose what's occurring, which is why there's no turning back whenever you reveal what you know. Why is everything with Scorpio and Leo just so dramatic? That's hilarious. So, yeah, this second house magic is very controversial, and it's going to really cause certain individuals, once again hidden, to like undermine your value because, I mean, it's so valuable. It's the type of value you have is not conventional. So the only thing people can do to undermine it is call you names, say things to try and get under your skin because they're inferior to you. And so you're on such a higher level, you don't really even have the liberty to like clack back or say anything because you're in a whole different world. And so the only thing these people can do passive aggressively is call you names and say mean things about you because like really, seriously, especially having Holy Spirit, like you're really untouchable in certain aspects. And so indirectly, if people can try and get you, trip you up, that's really the only way people can mess with you. Like, welcome to the big leagues. Especially this legendary nature of power you have here can almost indirectly control social currents based on how you move, knowing how people will react to you. So you don't even really have to be in a room and you can control it, which is really weird. Like, there's nothing normal about that. But once again, Pluto and Saturn here in the 12th is very difficult if you don't release and surrender the need to hyper balance or focus on certain, like 12th house energy like this could have you obsessing over what people are thinking of you when none of that matters. But also because you know that it's relevant in a sense, but surrendering, releasing to that will always have you come back around and balance out, you know, what you may not be aware of. Because you always feel the opposite of it. You always feel it with the opposition with your moon. And so if the second house is what you have, which is this ascension magic, this ascended perspective, then the 8th house is other people's resources. So basically, when you have the second house, the 8th house is, okay, this is what I have. You have this ascended magic. The 8th house is now, how do I take what I have in the second and invest it in the 8th? So the 8th house is self-employment, because most self-employed people deal with other people's money. So the 8th house is people trusting you with their, in Gemini, ideas, right? You have the vision. So you're finding the right people to trust with those ideas, or you're finding the right people who have ideas that can invest in your vision. But because the North Node is in the 8th, like if the North Node was in Sagittarius, you'd be using other people's ideas as a resource to add to your second house wealth and grow your vision. But you already got it like that. I mean, look at your second house. It's freaking loaded. It's ascendant. And Neptune here unlocks this creative, clairvoyant ability connected to your heart to real time see into the higher meaning of the vision, anchored with Saturn and Pluto, giving you a hidden context of how it plays out socially, and then opposite the moon, how to feel about it all individually. That's gangster. That's gangster. This is gangster. I don't know. Say it's gangster. So you're aligning this magical vision, which is so advanced, it could be registered as a thought instead of just some intuitive impulse. This is what will align you magically to know what to say to the right people. Chiron in close proximity, healing communication in the North Node has you trigger the crap out of people with the truth, because it will piss people off before it sets them free. But, you know, it is what it is. And this is where you will always say what needs to be said to invest the right ideas in people, whether they grow it like a seed, because those people will take those ideas and grow your vision. This could work with crypto, stocks, real estate, once again, self-employment, intimacy. And because as a Cancer sun, this is 12th house to you, you're transcending how your dealings with others influence your spiritual beliefs and your connection with the angelic realm. So that, in a nutshell, is a basic look at your chart. And that being said, if we look at the questions you mentioned about your 8th house, you want to blend both. You want to see it as an 8th house, okay? You want to see it as a 9th house sun, so you're teach about sincerity, but it plays out in the 8th house in your dealings with others, and how you transform people with your insights and philosophy that could be very much so indirectly expressed just by you being yourself. Be very wary of people playing contrarian, because square Libra, they're going to do this duplicitous fake shit where it's going to act like they're agreeing with you or they're cool with you, but they're clowning you. Like Libra, it's actually a Libra woman that admitted it too. Libra could be the meanest sign because they'll smile in your face, but like rip you to shreds behind your back, which is adorable. But it's also very sinister because square Cancer, like Libra isn't really a bad sign. But like when you put Pluto and Saturn and then the corrupt nature of this in Libra occurs, then you have like a dark side hidden in the 12th in Libra, which is social corruption. Actually, this is the divinity of social interaction, but because we're in an impure world where most people are evil as shit, well, there you go. And you have a Holy Spirit. So like evil people are going to be irritated by your Holy Spirit, you know, because they're evil as shit. And so this is what's going to bring this out of people. Like your own authenticity will actually draw out evil from people who are not authentic because they're fake as fuck. And so that's going to have you literally manifest this percent, like you're going to see it. And this will really color your interactions with people in general. Because once again, like a lot of people fall short of the glory, and most people's righteousness to God is like a filthy rag. So like even people who mean well really ain't shit. And this is stuff that you see, like this, none of this is a joke, because like it's not about, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intention. So it's not about people meaning well. You see an aspect of people, society, and the collective that's not pretty, but that's what you're here to really bring, this higher perspective, really changing individually in your interactions, making the world a better place with how you deal with people. And so you hold space in the 12th to draw this part out of people and align them with authenticity. Of course, those who are pure and not full of shit, you actually grow more closer with. And, you know, people who need to learn today are going to learn today, because you're the spirit teacher, remember. And so once again, this presence here in the 8th house really goes a long way to really influence a lot of how you secure your legacy. Your legacy is MC, and your destiny is the soul destiny is, of course, your North Node. So your life purpose, okay, is in the 8th house, and your legacy is in the 10th house. And so in the way you deal with other people, right? If I'm taking my resources to be trusted and trust other people, to transform and ascend my life, that's going to manifest success in the 10th. That's from the 8th to the 10th. And this is what is going to take the ideas I invest, or you invest individually in people, and now express out socially in Leo the golden quality, okay, of balance and beauty, in how you attract even more abundance based on how you take the perception you manifested, integrated in Aries, and express it out there. So a lot of that has to do with that sextile to the North Node, and that sextile to the 12th house, and that trine to Neptune. Y'all have this year. It's gangster. And 83, that's crazy. And your destiny return 2020. So that being said, this really seeks to intuitively align you to the right social collectives individually, where you can talk to someone who connects you with the right people, and it pushes your idea forward. So a lot of your life purpose has a lot to do with communicating the goddamn truth, because you manifest the perception. And so you invest in the right people who can take your ideas to the next level. But you're at the Cancer end. So that's something to consider. Stelliums, by the way, are anything more than 4 planets. 3 planets can be considered a stellium, but we want to see 4 or more. Especially because Sun, Mercury, and Mars are now attached to the 9th house. Remember, if we use the whole sign system. So, the core primary source of your vibrational psychic power is Cancer, because the source is the sun, right? The core of your being is Aries. All right, 15 degrees directly quincunx your AC, which is not a coincidence, as your soul is a vessel of your own behavior and how reflexively your personality, extremely in Scorpio, integrates how authentically you behave through that and dynamically. However, the source of your vibrational psychic power is Cancer, because source is sun and psychic power is Cancer. So the source of all of that, expressed through your brain, Mercury, which is linked with your Mars, your desire, aligns your brain's processing function to assertively project literal emotions and psychic vibrations or subtle psychic vibrations through how you're aware of this with psychic power. This is why Cancer is one of the most gaslighted vibrations. People will try and gaslight Gemini, but we really don't give a fuck. Just look at Kanye and Trump. Like, we will murder you. With words. Like, we wouldn't even go in for real. And that's because you can't really see words. So people don't know that we say things, but you can't see our magic. And Cancer is a literal manifestation of that because it's psychic power, but you can't really see your feelings. So like the fact that you literally can generate psychic power to discern through extrasensory perception or through literally generating the power to be aware of these subtle dynamics and literal feelings, how people psychologically express this, give you onus to now link your brain to act off of these vibrations and literally project emotions like you are projecting a Kamehameha wave. And that being said, this is going to harness a lot of this fuel. I like to see Cancer as emotional fuel towards how you represent and now exalt and ascend this feeling, giving you a dark sense of humor. Like Cancer ninth houses have like a sincere dark humor, which you kind of have to, like, it's not that easy to get. It's not like Capricorn that's just dry humor and very sarcastic. This is very intuitive. So it's like, it can kind of induce inside jokes too. And they're more behavioral, like to poke fun at unique attributes of people's behaviors, which shows that you really can tell who someone is. And a lot of these jokes will be indirect. But, yeah, people who have most planets in their 8th house deal with other people. 8th housers you'll find are more insurance agents, drug dealers, entrepreneurs, people who deal with other people's money, resources, ideas, people who are able to get loans or raise funds for people who are, especially square the 11th house, people who are able to be like, okay, I can get investors to help you because they're growing the 2nd house. 8th housers are also people who can just really have people share their secrets. So falling in the 8th, people may just be so free to share their ideas or emotions with you without you asking. But you're more a 9th houser than you are 8th houser. That's the one thing I want to share with this reading. Yeah, it falls in the 8th. So like, let's say your 8th house is New York and your 9th house is New Jersey. Or your 8th house is New Jersey and your 9th house is New York. You're a New York cop chilling in New Jersey, right? Because Cancer is New York, but you're like right at the Verrazano Bridge, right? Your New York is like right there, but you're just chilling in Jersey. But you report to New York. See how Cancer's in the 9th? So when you get that call, you got to go back to New York, but you're just chilling in Jersey, you know, shooting the shit with people in Jersey, but you don't have any jurisdiction in Jersey. So like, you're not an 8th houser. You're a 9th houser, a New York cop that's just chilling in the 8th house in New Jersey. So that's the most important thing I want to see. You're going to experience 8th house planets, but it's going to report to the 9th. So everything you're dealing with others, transforming, is to bring to the light the hidden nature of their emotions that they keep secret or they think they could play you with because they don't know that you're a literal gangster high priest like that and that you will literally expose every single feeling they have and then expose how they behave inauthentically and that they should never ever be faking your presence because you're the pure king. I hope you enjoyed this reading. And yes, please look forward, or please feel free to give me feedback on this. Thank you so much for your patience as well. You stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.